In a televised address, Bahrain's King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa has talked about the unprecedented attacks faced by his country and other Arab states, blaming Iran for actions that he says cannot be justified. Let's listen to his statements.
إنه ليؤسفنا ما تعرضت له بلادنا العزيزة والدول العربية والشقيقة والدول الصديقة من اعتداءات غير مسبوقة لا يمكن تبريرها تحت أي ذريعة من قبل إيران. فالبحرين كانت وستظل دولة سلام لم تبادر يوما إلى استعداء أحد ولم تنتهج إلا سبيل التعاون وحسن الجوار تجاه محيطها العربي ومجتمعها الدولي. وعلى هذا الأساس جاء انضمامنا إلى مجلس السلام المعني بإعادة إعمار غزة تعبيرا صادقا عن وضوح مواقف بلادنا وانسجام سياساتها مع المساعي الهادفة إلى نشر السلام وإعادة البناء وتهيئة أسباب الاستقرار.
Bahrain's king has also stressed that the country will remain committed to an approach of moderation, fulfilling its obligations to other Arab nations and the wider international community. Joining us live now again to give us his perspectives on the issues at hand is Hamid Vahidi, Iranian Australian community leader, co-founder of Mehran Foundation. He's joining us live from Sydney. Sir, let's dive deeper into my previous question. Of course, Australia is a multi-ethnic country and there are many different types of communities there. My question is, how do we essentially not generalize, stereotype, and for lack of a better word, condemn individuals who, of course, are so far removed from the Middle East conflict? What's your advice to essentially move forward in a world where families are their own utopias? And how can we avoid situations like what's happening in the Middle East, where essentially different nations can't seem to find a consensus and move forward economically? Please.
Very good question again, Roshan. I think there are two different aspects to this question. So let me start with the Australian community. In Australia, we believe that everyone that comes to Australia should leave everything that he had, like any obsession or anything that like any enmity with any other group outside, and just come to the country with open arms and try to embrace other cultures and work with others and live together and be friends. So from that aspect, I think this kind of extremism is not acceptable in a multicultural society like Australia. So this is completely against the norm, completely against whatever that we are advocating here in a free country like Australia. So the other aspect is, if you look at it globally, you can't hide this. You can't hide this truth. Let's bite the bullet and just lay out the line. Some ideologies, some groups, they can't work and live with others because in their ideology, I've worked and lived and born and bred in Iran, so I know this ideology. I have lived that kind of culture. These kind of ideology, they don't allow other cultures, they don't allow other groups to live with them. They want to expand their own territory, they want to rule, they want to start a government, not a democratic government in the Western sense of meaning. It's a ruling system, it's a caliphate, and they wanted to establish that kind of overruling power and just expand the territory and just have someone, some group, some elite group that just dictating everything to others. So you can't live with a dictator. You can't obey the dictator, but you can live with it openly and freely. So if you want to be honest and just take the bull by the horn, you definitely cannot work and live and be friend with ideologies, these extremist ideologies. So I think that would be the end of it. if they are happy to put it aside, this kind of extremism, yes, definitely that can work. And I'm not talking about religion, I'm not talking about ethnicity, I'm not talking about any specific group. I'm talking about this ideology that is just, they want to push everything to the extreme, just implement that caliphate around the world. So that cannot work with others and cannot live in such societies.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Much appreciated. Next up, Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar said that India has allowed an Iranian warship, the IRIS Lavan, to dock at Kochi port as a humanitarian gesture. The docking came after the U.S. sank another Iranian Navy vessel off Sri Lanka earlier this week. Jaishankar said India received a request from Iran on February 28th for 3 ships to use Indian ports, granting permission on March 1st. The Lavan docked on March 4th, and its crew is being accommodated at Indian naval facilities. The foreign minister stressed that allowing the ship to dock was the right thing to do, amid rising tensions in the region following U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran. Let's listen to what the Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar had to say.
The House will also be interested in the issue of an Iranian vessel that is currently docked in Kochi. The Iranian side had requested permission on 28 February for 3 ships in the region to dock at our ports. This was accorded on 1 March. IRIS Lavan actually docked on 4th March in Kochi. The crew is currently in Indian naval facilities. We believe that this was the right thing to do, and the Iranian foreign minister has expressed his country's thanks for this human gesture.
And now joining us for his take is retired Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar. He's a senior strategic and international affairs expert joining us live from New Delhi. Sir, do you believe that this move essentially puts India in the line of fire from the U.S. or Israel? Please.
Thank you, Roshan. I don't think so, because see, we in our foreign policy, we exercise a strategic autonomy. Iran has been a good friend, remains a good friend. Israel is a good friend, remains a good friend, and US is a good friend and remains a good friend. There are certain humanitarian issues and there are certain protocols which the navies of both the countries or worldwide, maritime protocols, are required to be followed. Now there is a distress signal in the international waters. And if you happen to be the first responder there, then be it, because that's the way it is to be done. And how are we concerned whether somebody likes it or does not like it? Does our foreign policy gets tailored to suit the needs of the other countries? It is based on our own national interest. And unfortunately, the opposition carries the things a bit too far here in India. And they really don't know what issue needs to be highlighted and what does not need to be highlighted. This is a clear-cut case. We allowed this ship to dock in Kochi, and all the sailors were taken off board and accommodated in our naval premises. And if this happens to an Indian ship near the Iranian coast, I'm sure Iran will also do a similar kind of a thing. So these are important protocols. I think it has got nothing to do with the ongoing war, and I would like also to tell your viewers that please don't connect it with any kind of situation which is happening in the Middle East. These are protocols. We were having a joint naval exercise in the Indian waters. These ships were here for the naval exercise and at the invitation of our government. And after the exercise, they have departed. One of the ships was technical issues were there, so it required help, and India was there to give it help. So I really don't see that the context of the Indo-US relation should come into play here. and things have to be looked from the perspective of protocols on relations, bilateral relations between two countries, and on how the two navies of the two countries regard each other. Roshan.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.